There's no need to fear. Tod Tucker is here. Frosty, hide my drink. I'll just set it over here. There we go. It's right there. Welcome to the show today. The media is elated. They're elated about Brett Kavanaugh. Why? Because of ratings. Oh, yes. They can get some ratings. So they're all about the disruption of our political system and our judicial process in America for the sake of ratings. The lame street media, MSDNC, DNCNN, and yes, even Fox News are excited about the fact they will be getting some ratings. I'll be watching the hearings on CNN because I prefer not to hear commentary along with testimony. But tomorrow is the big day when they call her doctor, terrible professor, by the way, according to former students, Christine Blasey Ford and Judge Brett Kavanaugh. They're going to face off before the committee. Ford's going to go first, Kavanaugh second. And there are 8 problems with Ford's allegations. Let me run down those for you. Ford, number 1, can't reveal basic details and what she says was the most traumatic event of her life. Not where the assault took place. She's not sure whose house it was or even what street it was on. She's not sure of the year, let alone the day and the month. She doesn't even know what grade she was in when this party happened. She says she was violently molested, but yet doesn't remember day, time, place, year. She says that she only had 1 beer at this party, so she can't say she was inebriated. Number 2, Ford concedes she told no one what happened to her at the time, not even her best friend or her mother. That means she has no contemporaneous witness to corroborate her story. Man, oh man. Number 3, worse, the 4 other people she identified as attending the party, including Kavanaugh, deny knowledge of the gathering, and this includes Leland Ingram Kaiser, who Ford calls a lifelong friend. Kaiser doesn't know anything about Kavanaugh, has never met Kavanaugh before, and has no recollection of ever being at such a party or event in which he was present, with or without Dr. Ford. The other 2 witnesses also deny recollection of any such event or party. In Ford's original letter to Dianne Feinstein, Ford claimed that Kavanaugh talked to Kaiser and one of her other witnesses right after that she was allegedly assaulted. Yet neither shares her memory. Her lifelong friend and 2 other witnesses have no recollection of ever seeing or meeting Brett Kavanaugh at a party. Number 4, her own immediate family doesn't appear to be backing her up either. Her mother, her father, and her 2 siblings. They're all conspicuously absent from a letter of support written by a dozen relatives of Dr. Ford, which mostly are on her husband's side of the family, her in-laws. And that's just saying that she's such a fine woman and so honorable and so honest. Number 5, this past summer, Ford tried to reach out to old friends from high school and college to jog her memory. Jog her memory of the most traumatic event of her life. You need your memory jogged for that, Dr. Ford? I don't think so. They couldn't help her. Number 6, she pushed forward with the charge, this bombshell, contacting the Washington Post tip line. And she also reached out to Democratic lawmakers. And she hired a Democratic activist lawyer. Ford is a Democrat, an anti-Trump marcher, and that raises several questions about her motive, along with their veracity. Her timing, her motive, and their veracity. Number 7, Ford contends that notes taken by her therapist back in 2012 corroborate her account, but they don't mention Brett Kavanaugh at all. They also point out inconsistencies with her story. Kavanaugh is nowhere to be found in this conversation with the shrink. Her story noted that there were 4 boys in the room, not 2, as she's saying now. She said there were 4, Now there were 2. She says she was in her late teens. Now she says she was 15. Man, I would love to become a lawyer overnight and be able to be somebody who questions this woman. She's going to be grilled on the Hill tomorrow. Of course, I'm sure all these vagina hat wearing libturds are going to be there disrupting the process. Hopefully they lock them out. America will be watching, although there are like 40-some-odd% of people who don't care. Number 8, Ford told the Washington Post she was upset when Donald Trump was elected in November of 2016 because Kavanaugh was named as a Supreme Court nominee on Trump's list. Kavanaugh was not added to the list until November of 2017, nearly 1 year ago, and nearly 2 years after President Trump was elected the first time. Now we've got this woman, Julie Swetnick, who's woman number 4. Here's a problem with this. She was in high school, or I'm sorry, Judge Kavanaugh was in high school when she was in college. So, what's going on here? Is Dr. Ford really willing to testify under oath before a Senate Judiciary Committee in which the penalty of perjury is a very steep fine and a prison sentence? And these other women that have come forward, their stories are inconsistent as well. Judge Kavanaugh calls it best when he says it's like the Twilight Zone. Because of these allegations, and because of Dr. Ford, and the fact that Dianne Feinstein kept this letter a secret until the last possible second before a vote. Now, keep in mind, the Senate Judiciary Committee had already sent Judge Kavanaugh to the floor of the Senate for a vote when all of a sudden Feinstein has this letter. Isn't that amazing? I'm just blown away by all of this. Not surprised, because Democrats will do anything they can to obstruct this president and to keep America from moving forward. So now we're distracted with a very, very long process that could have been taken care of weeks ago. This process in which Judge Kavanaugh should already have been sworn in as a Supreme Court justice, and now we're dealing with who, what, when, where, why. Date, time, location. Now, there are some people that would say, well, she's probably blocked it out of her memory. If that were the case, then she wouldn't be coming forward right now. The problem is we don't have a date, a time, or a location. She has no recollection of the most traumatic moment of her life. Her friends, who she says, one of which, a lifelong friend, has no recollection of ever meeting Brett Kavanaugh in her entire life. Something has gone awry here, and it's the process. Now we've got a fine man, Brett Kavanaugh, who hasn't been convicted of anything. He's not a criminal. He's not going to court. He's not been charged with anything. This is just he said, she said. And these other women who have come forward, now what's happening is the cockroaches are starting to dig deeper and deeper to find something that'll stick. But so far, it ain't working. So here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, if Christine Ford is ballsy enough to turn up, show up, she will be grilled in the Senate Judiciary Committee. She will be forced to recall these events. She'll be forced to recall date, time, location. She'll be forced to explain why her family, her immediate family, her mom, her dad, her siblings have no recollection of this. And she'll be forced to talk about her Democrat activism and her anti-Trump marching. This, my friends, is more about her hatred for Donald Trump than it is about Brett Kavanaugh. This is the last-ditch effort for Democrats to keep Brett Kavanaugh off the bench. Got news for you. It's not going to happen, And if it does, the president will probably nominate somebody even more conservative just to say, okay, all right then, because Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And you don't trump Trump. This is a circus. Democrats are the clowns, and as I said yesterday, they're not funny clowns, they're scary clowns. These allegations won't stick. Now, you might say, well, Dr. Ford passed a polygraph examination. Well, I heard a defense attorney speaking, and she said that you can pass a polygraph. That's why it's not admissible in court. You can be guilty and pass a polygraph. You can be innocent and pass a polygraph. Here's the issue. If you really believe something happened, or you don't have any deception that the machine picks up, then it can show that you're being truthful. But there's not going to be a polygraph that's going to be admissible in this hearing, just as it's not admissible in court. So I predict that before the weekend, or at least on Monday, Brett Kavanaugh will go to the Senate floor. There will be a vote. He will pass because these red state Democrats that are up for re-election, they know better than to not vote for him. And I believe that he will get more than probably 55 or so votes. Could be more than 60, who knows? But in this country, the Bill of Rights, the very thing that Judge Kavanaugh will be defending and has been defending as a justice on or a judge on the second highest court in the land, the D.C. Circuit, your Bill of Rights afford you benefit of the doubt. Innocent until proven guilty. Brett Kavanaugh's family has been threatened. Their lives have been threatened, all because of Democrat cheap tricks at the last second to stop this man from being on the Supreme Court. If anything happens to the Kavanaugh family, Dianne Feinstein has their blood on her hands, as do the rest of these morons in the Democrat Party. We're going to take a break. Brooke McGowan is in D.C. She had a great talk with Texas Congressman Louie Gohmert. Also, the first gubernatorial big old debate, or they call it a forum. We've got a story from Aaron Brilbeck from News 9 coming up. After this break, we'll be right back.
Do you have problems with pain, anxiety, or sleeplessness? Come see us at Can Help Wellness, where we can help. Stop by any of our 4 wellness centers to find out how premium CBD products can help you find relief. From balms to tinctures to even products for your pets. Natural, safe, organic relief and lab tested with certifications. Reach out to one of our wellness consultants today at 405-455-3012 or online at cann-help.com.
In case you just joined us, if you missed the 8 problems with Dr. Ford's allegations against Brett Kavanaugh, make sure you watch the rebroadcast, which is posted on the OTU page, also on my Facebook page as well, Tod Tucker Show, or The Tod Tucker Show. Brooke McGowan is in Washington, D.C., in the swampland, and she had a great conversation with Texas Congressman from the 1st District, Louie Gohmert, about the FISA memos that have been declassified by President Trump. Let's roll the video.
I want to ask you about the FISA. I'm here with Congressman from Texas, District 1, right?
That's it.
Louie Gohmert. Mr. Gohmert, could you tell us, are you supporting, first of all, are you supporting Jim Jordan for Speaker? Obviously, you're here.
You bet.
And then where are you hearing where things are with the FISA, the declass of the FISA docs?
Well,
They look like they've been put on hold.
I was with the President of the Oval Office 2 weeks ago. I was encouraging him to declassify. He wanted to declassify, but he actually still asked some people around and said, well, we need to go slow on this. Go slow, my foot.
Right. Years ago.
I have intelligence friends that say there's no reason not to declassify.
Okay.
It would only take an hour to make sure it's reviewed.
Right.
we're not talking about sources and methods, really.
No.
The reason that they have continued to object to declassification is just like we've seen for the last year or two. They don't want things being revealed that make them look bad.
Right.
Well,
so people are irritated and they're ready for arrests. So is that? Do you foresee that in the next?
The president is in a terrible situation. He still has some deep state people around him. Jeff Sessions has lots of deep state people like Rosenstein, who apparently has been engaged in an effort to have a coup to take down a duly elected president. So anyway, he needs to go. Hopefully, he'll either come to Congress and testify within the next few days, or he'll resign, one or the other. But he needs to give answers, or he needs to voluntarily resign.
We want to thank you from Oklahoma Taxpayers Unite for your continued fight up here. We love you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
it. Thank God for Oklahoma.
Wow, a Texan saying, thank God for Oklahoma. That's awesome. Brooke McGowan in Washington, D.C. with 1st District Congressman Louie Gohmert of Texas. And we'll hear more from Brooke as the week progresses. She's there for the big meetings, the hearing tomorrow with Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh, soon to be Justice Kavanaugh. The Fed has hiked interest rates for the 3rd time in 2018. That usually means a very healthy economy. That's not such a great thing, though, unless you own stock. If you're buying something, not so good, but if you own stock or have investments, great for you. The Dow was down as of showtime a little bit, could rebound before the close today, but interest rates are going up. That's usually the sign of a healthy economy. All right, Kevin Stitt and Drew Edmondson, Republican and Democrat, had their first forum, gubernatorial forum. News 9's Aaron Brelbeck, my good friend, has the story. Let's roll, Aaron.
The Oklahoman billed this as a conversation between the two candidates, and that's what it was. It was very cordial.
Very tame, but we did get to go in more detail tonight about those specific platforms.
The first forum of the campaign didn't really cover any new ground. Republican Kevin Stitt and Democrat Drew Edmondson traded light jabs over attack ads like this one, slamming Edmondson.
Edmondson will continue his work, decimating Oklahoma's farmers and ranchers.
That's the most worthless barn I've ever seen. There's no road leading up to it or leading away from it.
And this is about delivering services. I believe in smart government, a government that delivers core services efficiently and effectively.
The candidates talk about their plans for funding education. Edmondson reiterated his plan to increase the tax on oil and natural gas production to 7%, do away with capital gains exemption, and increase the tax on tobacco. And that's the same plan he's had to fund infrastructure repairs. Stitt said he had a plan to fund education while raising teacher salaries.
They're at number 2 now. I've got a plan to get them to number 1, but also, you know,
without that next session, I mean, without
next session.
We asked Stitt for more details on that plan.
Well, next year we have $1 billion more in revenue, so I want to inject more into this education, the common education system, to make sure we get our teachers up to number 1 in the region in pay.
He calls it $1 billion. It's closer to $800 million new revenues, 400 of which he would have vetoed. So I'm glad that wiser heads prevailed.
And of course, we couldn't cover the whole hour conversation that happened on the stage tonight, but we will have more on the segment on the campaign trail tomorrow.
For Bonnie Campo, I'm Aaron Brelbeck, News 9.
Okay, so you heard it from Drew Edmondson's mouth. He wants to raise your taxes. Wow, how novel. A Democrat who wants to raise your taxes. Kevin Stitt says he has a plan to keep taxes low and to bring jobs to Oklahoma. Drew Edmondson wants to raise your taxes. Say no to Drew. We can't have it. We cannot have higher taxes. The government giveth and the government taketh away. The federal government just gave us a great tax cut, and we've got tax cut 2.0 coming. The state wants to continue raising taxes. We can't have it. That's not anti-teacher. That's anti-tax. Let's keep tax rates low in Oklahoma, or we're going to lose jobs. We're going to lose people. We're not going to have new jobs coming to a state that is 47th in happiness and has high taxes. Not going to happen. Michael, Michelle. Michelle O's out on her big book tour, Becoming a Woman. It's all about her transition from being a man, Michael Robinson, to being a woman, Michelle Robinson Obama. And she says people who know nothing about nothing should vote. Isn't that what the Democrat Party is all about? People who know nothing about nothing? Yeah, they like it that way. They don't want you to be informed. Don't do that. Do not dare. Do not dare educate yourself before you vote. That's just a bad thing. Here's the truth, Michael, Michelle, whatever your name is. Voters are smarter than you are. Yeah, they are. They elected Donald Trump. They realized that your husband was a disaster for this country for 8 years. They understand the fact that unemployment is at an all-time low, stock market record highs. They get the fact that people are working again. Manufacturing jobs are working. Coal mines. Hillary said she was going to put them out of business. She might be going to prison soon with the release of these FISA memos. Who knows? Along with some of the Obamster's administration people. By the way, back to the Kavanaugh thing for a second. Hypocrisy lives with liberals. Do you know who was on the Senate Judiciary Committee back when Robert Bork was up and when President Reagan had nominated Robert Bork? Good old Uncle Joe. Good old Uncle Joe was there saying that nobody should, in their final year of their second term, nominate a Supreme Court justice. Oh, but he changed his mind when he was standing in the Rose Garden with Barry. Call me Mr. Flintstone. I can make your bed rock, because I am Barack. I got down in a limo with a man named Larry. Joe Biden changed his tune when lovely Barry was in office, but now is back to saying, it's a midterm election year. We shouldn't be nominating justices. NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Lowest rated year ever in NBC's storied history. You know, Rachel Madcow on MSDNC has the highest ratings of any talk show host on that network. Maybe soon we'll see the first. Hey, and we go to the same barber. We get our hair cut at the same place, Rachel and I do. Could it be that maybe soon we'll see the NBC Nightly News with Rachel Madcow? Who knows? Lester Holt, the lowest rated newscast ever for NBDNC. Final thoughts on Brett Kavanaugh. The man has not been proven to be guilty of anything. And what does this say to young people watching right now? I'll tell you what it says. It says, I don't know if I ever want to subject myself to ever aspiring to be a Supreme Court justice or a politician. Because as soon as I do, my family, my friends, everybody in my life are going to be under scrutiny. They're going to dig for things that I might have done or might not have done. I stole a piece of bubble gum from Joe Bob's backpack in 7th grade. That's going to be dug up and used against me. I just don't know if I want to put my family through that. That's what this says to younger people in America who aspire to service in our country. We've come to a point where we now demonize those who serve us on both sides, not just one side. But the Democrats are more guilty than Republicans are of destroying somebody's character. I got news for you. The young people are kind of right. Why would you want to put yourself out there for this? There's only one answer that I have, and that is love of country. An obligation, because we are blessed to be born in the greatest nation on this earth. Yes, I said it, liberals. I'm sorry. I know you don't like to hear in America about how America's great, but it is great. Always has been, always will be. This globalist crap. So why should a young person aspire to be a Supreme Court justice or to be a servant of the people, be president someday? Because of their love of country and an obligation to serve our country. You see, anybody who enters the political fray, we're always, whether you're a commentator, whether you're a politician, whether you work for a politician, or whether you're on the highest court in the land, you are subject to constant scrutiny and hate speech. That's just the way it is. You saw yesterday how Senator Ted Cruz and his wife were treated in a restaurant by a bunch of mannerless libturds who still live in mom's basement because they don't have a job. All they do is go out and protest, protest, protest. Yeah, it's disillusioning. But that's the way our process works. And it's still better than any other process in the world, in the history of the world. Here's my advice to young people. Learn your Bill of Rights. Know what the Constitution says. Live by it. Take advantage of those rights. You see, you know about the First Amendment because you throw that up to teachers or anybody whenever they disagree with you or they chastise you because of your beliefs. You know about your First Amendment. You know the Second Amendment, but do you know the second, third, fourth, fifth? I mean, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, on to the 14th and on. I mean, do you know? If you don't, get to know. Educate yourself. Don't listen to Michelle Obamster. The best voter is an informed voter. And it's really easy today. You see, my mom bought us, my sister and me, some World Book encyclopedias back in the day. Well, heck, by the time those were printed, they were already outdated. Now you've got the benefit of encyclopedias online that are updated constantly. Information is at your fingertips. It's not hard to find. If you're a parent, encourage your kids to get to know our Constitution and what it stands for. Get them to know something besides the First and Second Amendment. Let them know the history of this country, how we came to be a country, why we broke away from the monarchy of Great Britain. Get to know this country. You'll love it even more. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, as we get closer to the weekend. Oh, thank you, Lord. It's been kind of a cold, damp day in Oklahoma. So stay warm, stay dry. Remember, God loves you. So do I. God bless Oklahoma. God bless America. God bless you. And remember, the heart of the wise inclines to the right, the heart of the fool to the left. Ecclesiastes 10:2. We'll see you back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central.